Welcome back to N4 Learning. Now I've had some emails about fan coils. So we're going to write a little bit of fan coil logic. We're still using the Edge 10. Now the Edge 10 is a great controller for fan coils. It's not that expensive. It's one of the cheapest of the Niagara Tridium range. And that's only because it has 50 points maximum capacity and 3 devices. Now the Edge 10 controller, which you can see on previous videos and a picture, in fact let me bring you a picture up of an Edge 10. So here we have the Edge 10. It's got universal inputs at the top here, analog outputs on RS485 and digital outputs, and then we've got the secondary and the primary ports. Now they can actually be on the same IP range, so you can go in with the Ethernet cable from your controller. I mean, you can link out of that to the second fan coil unit and then link again to the third, so you can daisy chain your fan coil units. We've got the debug and we've got the factory reset. Nice little controller, and that's what we're going to be using. So first of all, I've just put some points onto a wire sheet. It's for the example set point. I've just put what we think the set point is, but that's going to be made adjustable, and the dead band from the set point. So if it's 21 degrees, 22 degrees and 20 degrees is your dead band, or we can do 2 degrees either side. I don't know yet. Let's have a play with it and let's see where we go. So we've got the points on there. With the set point, I've hidden the overrides. So if you look at this, you've only got the set, where if we take another one, action, see, you got your emergency override, emergency auto, override, auto and set. Well, with the set point, all we've got is the set, and I've also limited what they can set it to. So minimum 16, maximum 25. They can't go below 16 and they can't go above 25. And just in case you can't remember how you set the overrides, all it is actions, views, AX slot sheet, and you highlight these: emergency override, auto override and auto, and then you can go to configure flags and you tick the hidden like I've done there. So that would normally not be ticked. You tick the hidden and then you can hide the points for these. So we've basically composited these points out. So here you can see the fan coil at the moment, the folder. We've got no logic in it at the moment, but you see how I've brought the points out. I'm going to show you how I do that with my outputs. So I've got some points here that I haven't brought out yet. So all I'm going to do is right click that FCU, composite, and then I'm going to bring these points out. So one's fan coil enable, so out, and then cooling coil, we bring that out, heating coil, cooling valve. Now I'm just using all the points up, but I'm going to play with this. We'll probably do some nice switches or whatever, so we can either use 0 to 10 volts, or in this case 0 to 100%, being 0 to 10 volts, or we can just use an on and off control. We'll have a play and we'll see where we go with it. So they've now composited out, but I've still got to rename. So you see these out 1, out 2, out 3, out 4. So now we're going to rename them. So views, AX slot sheet. So that is the enable out. That one is my cooling coil. That one's my heating coil. That's my cooling valve, if we use one. And that's my heating valve. So now when we look at the wire sheet, we've got these, so these need to go to the point. So I'm going to link mark that, and these are my points up here. So link from, so analog output 1 cooling coil, link to in 10 on that one. Link from my heating coil into in 10 on that one. My start fan, link from enable my fan. Cooling valve, link from into there. Link from heating valve into there. So these are all my points available on the Edge IO. Bit messy here, so let's just tidy this up a little bit. And I'm just checking that all my points are actually, I've got something connected to them all, and I haven't missed anything out, i.e. these little nibs here, I've got them all connected. Which I have. So they're my outputs, and the other side are my inputs. So universal, universal, and then some digitals. And with my heating valve, what I've done with the heating valve is normally the heating valve is at default value. So default value is 0 to 10 volts, but I know I'm doing 0 to 100%. So I'm not sending I am sending a voltage to it, but I need to change that from a linear and then change the scale to 0.1. So when I give it 10%, I'm giving it 1 volt. When I give it 100%, I'm giving it 10 volts. So I've had to change the scale on that. So we're not interested in that anymore now. So that's our edge for that. So what we're interested in is our logic. And then we've got to do a graphic and all sorts. So now we need to play with some logic here. So we need to take into account the safety. So we've got an input for the safety. So that could be anything from a fire alarm, emergency stop. So we physically put an input in for the fan coil for the safety. So we've got an analog input for our supply and space temp. And we've got another one for our enable. Now we could have more than one enable. That enable would be, say, a switch in the room, or it could be a PIR. PIR comes on, you know someone's in the room, let's enable it. So it could be anything. In fact, let's just rename that to enable, and we put switch PIR or scheduler. Could be anything. Just put shed there. Get rid of the ULER. Enable switch PIR scheduler. The safety again, that could be, it's an input. So it could be into the controller, fire alarm, emergency stop, anything safety wise. So we always need that to be true. So at the moment that's not true, that's false. So safety is normally fail safe. So we normally need that to be true. And then these are adjustable ourselves on the graphic. Filter, now we're not going to tie that into any logic. The filter is either clean or dirty. If it's dirty, we'll put an alarm on there. So let's do that now. So in our filter, we'll go to our alarms, extensions, Boolean change of state. So this won't be an alarm now because it's false, but if it ever goes true, it will send out an alarm. And you can actually put in here filter dirty, exclamation mark, clean, filter clean. You can put a delay if you want to do a delay on that. I mean, it's a filter, so it's not a big deal. It's not as if it's a fire alarm issue. So let's put an inhibit time of 1 minute. I'm going to put 1 minute there for the time delay. We're not really bothered about that. Default alarm class. So alarm value is dirty. Save that. And if it does go dirty, we'll still wait a minute before we actually send the alarm. Again, we're not bothered. It's not a critical piece of equipment. It's just saying dirty. So a fan coil, I think you all know what fan coils are, but fan coil has a fan, and it has normally a cooling coil and a heating coil. Sometimes it will just have one coil. It will have a heating coil, or if it's near glass or whatever, it may just have a cooling coil, i.e. windows on the outside area perimeter of a floor, solar gain via the glass. You probably would never ever do any heating in a million years, especially the way the new buildings are well insulated, and you probably only want to do cooling. So why buy a fan coil that's got a cooling coil and a heating coil when you are only going to be ever doing cooling on that fan coil? And then in the middle of the floor you probably have fan coils that do cooling and heating. So you can have them with one coil, you can have them with two. So you've got a fan, you've got your cooling coils, you've got a filter media, and they normally get changed depending how often the fan coils used, but quarterly you would look at them, maybe half yearly. Depends what your regime is, for your maintenance regime is for your fan coils. But naturally you have lots of fan coils on the floor, so you could have 50, 60, 70 fan coils on the floor, and then you have an air handling unit feeding the fan coils. So you have a gap. They won't be exactly connected to the fan coil. The air handling unit will feed the roof space, and then the roof space will take the temperature, say 20 degrees or 21 degrees from the air handling unit, or even 18 degrees, and it will heat and cool it to the room set point that you want. I don't have a diagram to show you, but normally in offices, if we're talking offices, you've got a false ceiling, and above that ceiling you could have half a meter between the concrete roof and the ceiling, and the air handling unit normally feeds that area, and then the fan coils pull off that area. But you can also have fan coils that will be ducted directly into the room, and it will pull from the room through the fan, heating cooling coil, and then supply back into the room at the following corner. So you can have one sucking out the room air, going through and back in, or you can have one fan coil that's taking it from the roof void, the air, and feeding it in. Either way, it's still a fan coil. So let's start doing some logic now. First things first, let's do our safety. So we'll put an AND gate in there. Like I said, I'm just going along on this. I'm not following any procedure. I'm just doing what I think would be the logic for this. Safety, enable. So safety and enable. It could be, someone will probably do it a lot different to this, and then they'll probably make it even more complicated than this. So that's our enable, be it a PIR, be it a scheduler, be it a switch in the room. That's our safety, to make sure everything is healthy, which of course we get off false at the moment. Let me just do my AX slot sheet there and just put enable. I'll just put short enable and safety. So do we need to tie anything else up into that? Not really. We don't want to put the filter in there. We still want the fan coil to run even if the filter is dirty. So we're not going to do anything with that point yet. In fact, I don't think we do anything with it through the logic. So that's our output there. So our safety needs to be on. So in normal conditions, that is a fail safe. So it's closed between the digital input and ground, and that also either is a switch in the room that will also be active. So there's my true now. Any one of them go off, we will go to false. So now we're happy to start with conditioning the room. So we've got a set point of 21 degrees. So let's put across now a loop, PI loop we're going to use. And we'll use that same loop for heating and cooling. So we're only going to use one loop. So we're making it, I think, a little bit easier. So we'll do heating, cooling loop. So loop enable, set point control variable. We'll do the expose the proportional and the integral points out there, and we can expose them as well, and we can reset the integral. So that's our loop enabled. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to just set that to a 2 and set that to a 1 at the moment. And let's just put in our supply temperature, is what we're going to supply out to the building, into the room. So that's our control variable and our set point. Now we can put the 21 straight into there if we want to, but we want a dead band between heating and cooling, so I want to give it a dead band. So let's work on that one first. We'll come to the dead band in a minute, I think. Let's just put a set point in there. So that's ramping up. The control variable is 20, the set point is 21, so that is currently ramping up, which we would normally put to the heating coil, because we want to have heat at this time. So that would go to the heating coil, and then we've got the cooling coil as well. So let's bring in that, let's put a T-stat in there with that dead band. T-stat. Let's just expose them points. We don't want that on there. Take that off. Put the set point in there. Put the differential in there. And put the control variable in there. So that's false for that. Let's reverse that. So that's now true. Let's just put a large, let's just lower that set point, no, higher that set point up. Set that to 25, which is our highest. Change the loop on that to reverse. That's going up. We also want to probably quicken that up even more, but that's a true there from that. So we know that that true is in heating mode, and when it's going to be false, it's going to be in cooling mode. So that true is heat, and that is cool. Like I said, I'm not I'm just doing this on the fly. So let's put a numeric switch in there. So we're now true. Let's take that. So that's exposing that because it's true, otherwise it'd be 0. And put that to our heating coil. A lot of things are going to change, but it's just going through the logic step by step. So heat. And that's putting our heating coil on. And then when we're cooling, I want to use a minus, so we're going to use only one, so minimum is going to be minus 100. Just wait and see how we get on with this one. So when it's a minus, so let's put it into minus, so let's put a set point now, set that to 16 degrees. So that's dropping down now. That's in cool mode. So I want to put a NOT gate in there, because I want a true back out again. Or can I could use that as a false, so I could put that then. No, I need that. Let's put a NOT gate in there. And that was going to go straight out to that one. Let's duplicate that. And we're going to go cool. And we're going to put that switch in there. And we will always want a positive, so let's do an ABS, a maths ABS, so we always get a positive on this one. So we never ever see a negative value. Let's put that into our true there. But we also we don't want to see a positive at all. So let's also put a block in there. That's now going down to a negative. Let's just put that set point back up a minute to 25. So it's going back the other way now. Heating coil. And let's put a maximum block in there. Yeah, a maximum. It's alright, I was just thinking which block it needs to be. No, it needs to be a minimum block. Minimum block in there. Put that into there. Put a 0 in there. And then now put that to the coil. True. So what's going to happen now, should happen, let's put that back to 16 degrees. So we want to go the opposite way. We still won't send anything to that. So the cooling valve, in fact, it's not that it goes to. It goes to the cooling coil on this one because we've selected the coil. So we're still giving a 0 value for the cooling because we're still in the plus 7.5 here at the moment. Let's just cut that out of there and let's put that just to tidy up into that one there. So we'll just put that only neg for negative. So that starts reading on negatives. That's your ABS value. So we're getting down to our negatives now. I presume I could make it quicker by changing this value to a higher temperature. So let's just override that to 25 degrees. So now that's quickening up now, that loop. That's true. Aha. I want to show negative there. So let's cut that, and let's cut that. That's it, but I don't want to, that ABS is in the wrong place. Delete, 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 move it to that side, take that, put that into there. Now put my ABS, so it's always a positive value. That's better. And then put that into my true. So that's my cooling coil working at the moment now. And my heating coil will come directly from that, but it won't work because it's a minus value and we're not even switched it on anyway. So that's now opening the cooling coil. The heating coil is closed. Let's switch that over now. Set point, set that to 25 degrees. And let's override that to 16 degrees so it's really cold. That's going the opposite way. We don't have anything, we've got a minus on our heating coil, which is fine. Minus is fine. We're not going to do anything, but then we're going to start heating now. So that's now increasing to heat. And we got that 0. So we never have both coils running at the same time. And we have this 2-degree differential on that switch there. So that's it for that one. We've still got to do the fan enable because at the moment the fan's not on. So we can follow that through with the loop enable if we want to, or we can just take it from there. Let's just take it from there. So that's our fan started. So we've sorted out them two valves. We've sorted out the fan coil enable. We've got to do something with these in case they don't use 0 to 10. We're going to have to do something with these, which we'll look at that in a minute. We're using that dead band and that set point. We're not doing anything with the space temperature at this moment in time. We're just working with the supply. So the next thing now is to sort out these. So we need to make a selectable switch. So let's just put an enum in there and select valve type. Take out the in 10, take out the in 16, and let's just do the set. Let's go in our enum and we'll do a 0 as voltage, and we'll do a 1 as digital. We didn't need to use an enum really, we could have just used a normal on and off. Set voltage. So select valve tape voltage, and then actions, set digital. We'll take out we'll hide these emergency stuff here. So config flags hidden, out the way. So now when we right click that, we just get the set. So that's a 0. No, it's not, that's a 1. And that's going to be a 0. We could just do it with a Boolean writable, false and true, but we'll keep this as it is at the moment now we've done it. So we want I'll tell you in a minute when I find it. Equal. Put that into there. Equal to a 0. So that's a true for that. Rename. Voltage. Duplicate that. Duplicate that. Valve. Digital. Put that back into there. Put that as a 1. So we're in voltage. So because we're in voltage, we're going to use these heating coils there. Just going to move this out a little bit more, because we're going to put a switch in there now. Another numeric switch. We're in voltage, so that's a true. Cooling. Duplicate that, heating voltage. And then we put that to a digital. Those are all there, and I want heating because I'm heating at the moment, so that's my true for my digital. So we could do a numeric switch, but let's just use a Boolean switch. So that's true for that, so that's going to be rename cooling digital. Valve. Duplicate heating. Digital valve. When that that's true, that is going to be true. Otherwise it's going to be false. And the same with this one. But we've still got to put in there, so we've got to, so what are we at the moment? Are we heating or cooling? 100% heating at the moment. So we've got to take that figure of 100% and make it into, so what we'll do there, we could use a T-stat. We put a difference of 20, so that's 10 degrees either side, and we'll set that to 50. So that needs to be true. So we're above 50 plus 10, so we're above 60%. So we've got a bit of a load to work at. And we are in heating, so we're going to put that into there. And then we're going to put that into there. So that's our heating valve on. Now let's put us into cooling. So I want a set point of 16 degrees. And we'll put a high temperature in there of say 25. Let's make it even higher. Let's quicken that up. Let's just say we're 55 degrees in the room, which we're certainly not. But we're saying we want 55 degrees. So I'm just a bit impatient, that's all. Just want to, right, now I'm in my minuses. And we've still got digital. So I will now want this cooling valve on. So we use another one of these. Or we could just reverse that. We could just put a NOT gate in and reverse it. And that way we can keep with the same logic. So let's put a NOT gate in there. And that's our cooling valve on. Right, let's try and get nearer to set point now. Put that to emergency auto. So that's 20 degrees we're looking for. Set to 20 degrees. Let's go a bit low, a bit higher than that. 22. That's going to take its time, isn't it? It's getting there. Now I'm going to go too fast now, aren't I? 25, set point's 25, that's gone to 19.1, sorry. Emergency override to 16. Going down now, actions, emergency auto. So we've still got our cooling valve on, because we're still in the minuses there. I'm just trying to see what's going on with that. And I think that's going to work very well. So our cooling valve is still on, because it will be. We're in digital mode. Our cooling valve is on. We really want our cooling valve off at this stage. So that NOT gate's not going to work for me, as I said I would do. That's not going to work at all. Duplicate cooling. Need to reverse that. So we're in heating mode now. So that doesn't want to be on. So that needs to this be took the other way. So it is false. Put that into there. That's my cooling. My heating valve won't come on yet until we get to 60. Now my cooling valve, because we're using the ABS, it's only going to look at that ABS. So the cooling valve won't come on until it's 60. So that gives it a little bit of a load. So that's my on and off for my valves, so that will work. So we want to speed this up a bit. So the set point's 25. Let's put that down to 16 degrees. We can lower that down if we want to, that set point. In fact, I'll copy that to that and put that to that as well. So if I change that one, I change that one automatically. And we could actually expose, so let's just duplicate that. And we'll go for, we'll call it digital start dig valve valve start set point. We'll have to change that now, so let's just do -inf plus inf. I'm going to set that to 50. Duplicate dig valve start differential. $20, so 10 degrees either way. Probably won't use that, we won't expose that out, but it's just some adjustments. So where are we at the moment? We've got the digital valve on here, so we're on there. Yeah, so it switched itself on, and we don't have any other valves working. And if we flick that across to voltage, we've got that working there, and we don't have any digital valves working. And mostly with fan coils, they are not 10 volt control, so you will probably find that you will have a cooling coil and a heating coil with 0 to 10 actuators on. This will probably be very rare. You probably wouldn't use this at all, but we're just given an option for using an on and off, open and closed valve, but very rarely you will see that. Saying that, the old fan coils, the very old ones, they didn't even use heating coils. They used a damper that you had a heating coil running all the way through all the time. There was a damper that went, so you had the cooling coil, like I said, on all the time, and you had the heating coil on all the time. A waste of energy. And you had a damper that actually redirected the flow through either the cooling coil or the heating coil, and that was like an on and off that just redirected the flow depending on the temperature, but a waste of energy because you always had a cooling coil running and you always had a heating coil running. But that was in the olden days. We don't have that nowadays. So that's working. I'm just wondering what else we can actually do. We have done nothing with the space temperature, but it can be used for a graphic. So I think what we need to do now is we need to make a graphic for this. So let's right click Fan Coil, FCU, Views, New View, and we'll call it FCU, and that will make an FCU PX. So there's our FCU PX. So we've only got one FCU at the moment. Let's just rename that to FCU 01. And then let's duplicate that to FCU 02. So if I click on that, I get the graphic. You can't see it, but I've got the graphic there. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just do a new label. We'll add a value binding to it. We'll put that at slot colon, and text, we'll animate it, and we'll take out that dot and we'll put name. And then what we'll do is we'll give it a biggish font, 20. We'll make it bold. We'll put it in as Arial. And we'll give it a colour. Error, name. Oh, of course. I missed out the percent. Or I deleted the percent. So that's Fan Coil 1. Fan Coil 2. So let's do the graphic for Fan Coil 1. So we'll use standard graphics, and it looks like I haven't done this on this particular 4.11, so let's bring in the palette, kit, PXN4. So I want ductwork, thank you, and I want a normal connector. So I don't want an end cap. Let's put that on so we can see what it is. I don't want dual. I don't want dual. Where are you? Well, I want one of them anyway. And I want one of them. I don't want that. Yeah, I'll take one of them. Thank you very much. Right, so that's going to be the roof void. Let's make this a bit funkier, and let's have a bend on there. No, I don't want that. Yeah, I'll take that one off you. And then I want a vertical. Yeah, that would do nicely, thank you. Let's stick a line across there. I'm just going to cheat a little bit here and go to my PX, because I can't be bothered to do the normal line. So we do that as like our ceiling. Let's put you at 5. Thank you. That looks okay. That's my ceiling. Normally we would have some sort of cowling on the end of that, but I don't know whether. So I'm just making it up as I go along, like I keep saying. Just making it up as I go along. No. 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 Alright then, so I can't see that at the moment. I can bring in some graphics if I needed to, but no, let's just. Alright then. So we've got a fan, so let's do the fan business. So we've got a fan, we're going to go horizontal, and we're going to go horizontal to the right. Yes, we know you're invisible at the moment because I haven't put a point to you. And then we're going to bring in a cooling coil and a heating coil. Coil's cooling, that would do, thank you very much. Yes, we know that you're not tied to a point yet, so we can't see you. And we'll have a heating coil. And then we want a filter. We want a filter. Filter. There you go. And we just go for a single filter. Right. So let's bring some points in. Fan Coil 1. We'll bring all that lot in, and we'll bring that in there. We'll bring that, just for the hell of it at the moment. I'm just going to right click that and go to iStatus and bring them all in as a status there. We want to change that to out value, and we'll give it a display name at the moment, and I presume just for the hell of it I'll put that green if it's true. And let's give it a nice border. No, I don't like that. Groove. I like that one. We can do some mouse overs if we want to, but we'll do them for temperatures in a bit. I haven't put any histories on them anyway. And then we've got to bring some switches across and all that lot. So let's do the fan coil. So that's fan coil and Hable. So these are my outputs. So let's do that one first. We know that output is on. That's my fan coil. Filter. Where's my filter? It's clean at the moment. Now this one's not going to work properly because it's looking at values and it's either on or off for me, so we know it's not going to work. So we'll take that, Control key C. We won't animate that, we'll animate it again. We'll paste that in there, we'll paste that in there. One's going to be right, one's going to be wrong. So I think 0 there is clean, and 4, which is going to be our true value. Yep. Very rare, I'm right first time. Cooling coil. Let's do the cooling coil. This one will work because I'm doing 0 to 100%. Heating coil. We'll have some of that. Right. That is, them two are off because of the switch. So they're all overridden. So we want some temperatures. We want some temperatures. And we can have some arrows as well. Why not? So, right. So we'll have that there. And we'll tie it in with the fan coil enable. We'll give a value binding. And I think we'll make it only visible when it's true. When it's off, we won't. Okay, let's just put you to there. Should we have one going down as well? Might be a bit OTT, but let's do it. Let's do it. Take that, value binding, put that in there, animate. Oh, so it's only on when it's true. Okay. Probably want to put that a little bit further down. I think I'm going to put that there. Move that cooling coil across. And move that heating coil across. That will do. Right, now we need some sensors to put temperatures on there. So where are we with the sensors? Sensors. Not pipes, duct. Average temperature left? No. Average temperature top? Yes. Let's have that baby. Oh, just noticed that there. That's not. That's better. Duplicate. Supply temp, which is overridden at the moment. Space temp. Filter. Put some wording on it as well. Why not? Because we can. And we'll put select wording on in there. Set point, we've got to work on them. Enable switch. We need to know whether it's enabled or not, but we'll put that there, but we don't want just true or false, so let's just animate that. So I can't be bothered to change the wording of the thing, so of the point, so enabled, disabled. We know it's overridden with the purple background there. And we do want the safety and fire. Let's just take that, and let's just take both them two, and let's just put them up there out of the way. Or should we just put them down? No, we'll put them. Let's put them underneath that. And then that percentage there, let's just minimize them down a little bit. So that's our cooling coil. That's our heating coil. And in case you can't tell the difference with the colours, we'll take the text, we'll put a space there, put a space there. Come on. Thank you. Maybe I've put two spaces in there. Did I put two spaces in there? No. Heating coil. And there's only one space there as well. Cooling coil. No, that's a fan because we've got a fan written in there. So, let's do these set points. Let's do these set points. Click PX. Action button. Take that. Control key C. Paste it into there. Select set. Add a value. Paste it into there. Do a text. Animation. Out. Value. Change that box. And that is set point for the room. Room set point. Duplicate that. Take the dead band. was wondering whether to just do something like that. Just gives it that bit of separation. I don't like using the equal sign or the minus sign. That looks okay. Well, I think it looks okay. I quite like that. So we're going to put it near the temperature that we're supplying. Let's put a space there. So we don't need them points anymore. Now we need that baby across, don't we? Let's take that and that. Put the background, animate the background simple. In case we know it's overridden, we keep that there. We keep the out value there. Let's go to groove. Not bothered about the font really, not at this stage. So we've selected voltage there, so let's take one of them babies. Let's duplicate it. Let's take the voltage from that. And then we're going to put here valve type, actuator type, because valve is normal, the mechanical, actuator, actuator. It's actually going to be to do with them. So we have got actuator type, which is voltage. Let's take that and let's add another value binding, and we'll use that for the value binding. And then we're going to do animate for the visible, and we're going to select the value type. So when we're on voltage, which is a 0, we want to see that. But if we go to digital, we don't want to see that, and not bothered about the default. And do the same with that one. Value binding. And when we are visible, animate value binding. When we're in voltage, we want to see it, and when we're in digital, we don't want to see it. And then I'm going to take them two. I think you can see where I'm going with this. That was the cooling one, and that is the heating one. I'm just going to put them there for now, but they are going to go up over the others in a bit. And then we're going to add a value binding, and we're going to use the same thing and animate. We don't want that, we want that. Voltage, we don't want to see it. Digital, we want to see it. Now it's gone. Add a value binding. Animate the value binding. We don't want to see it. Digital, we do want to see it. So now I select digital, OK. Now what we need to do now is we need to do the same with the graphic there. So let's just take them two, duplicate. But now I am going to do it so that these work on this. So take that, Control key V. That's not going to work because it's working on a voltage. So 0 and 4. So unanimate, animate. That's going to be a 4. That's going to be a 0. And then this one, we take that. Copy that. Unanimate it, animate it, paste that, and that's going to be a 4. So that's that done for that, but what we've got to do now, so we're in this mode at the moment, so we need to make that invisible. So we take, not that one, we take that one, we animate it, want, okay, not yet, we don't. We do a value binding, we paste that into there, now we animate it. We select that value binding, and digital we want, so we want to see that in voltage mode because it's that one there. So we do want to see it in voltage mode, we don't want to see it in digital mode. Take that value there, no, wrong value, we've already got the value there, but let's take it again, Control key C. We want to see that, so let's add the value binding. And then we want to do the animation, and we want to use that, and in voltage mode we want to see it, in digital mode we don't want to see it. Good, good, good. Now with this one we've got to add value binding, and then visible, animate, not that one, that one. In voltage mode we don't want to see it, in digital mode we do want to see it. That one, value binding, add the value, animate, select the value, in voltage we don't want to see it, in digital we do want to see it. We're in digital mode. Now we'll put that over there. So that graphic now covers both modes. So we put that, which is always really going to be in voltage mode, but we're playing here. Oh, I didn't like the way that went across. Yes. Let's move, which one looks better? I'll move these across. That's better. could do with some improvements. Let's put that line behind the... No, put it in edit mode first. Come on. Put that line behind the ducting. And then we've got these set points. That one we've already done. So that one's there, so we can forget that. Let's move that line down a little bit more. And that gives us room to put in the set points for the when we're in digital mode. So we'll highlight that, Control key C. Control key V. Control key V. And that is... It's not room set point, is it? What am I doing here? The valve start set point. Actuator start. Actuator enable set point. Might as well just do that one, duplicate that, because that's going to be actuator differential. Take that across there, that across there, actuator diff set point. We don't need them anymore now. So digital, we want to see them, and we still want to see them. But in voltage, we don't want to see them. We don't want to see them in voltage. They're no good to us in voltage. Value binding. False. True. Value binding. False. True. Voltage. We're interested in that, but when we're actually going digital, valves, we want to see that for when we enable that signal. And it's actually not degree C, is it? It is a percentage. I actually put that as it's not a degree C, it's a percentage. Aha. Have I got a percentage that I've done here? No, let's just... Let's take out the decimal place. Try to enable set point 50% with a differential of 20 to 10 either way. So when it gets 60, we haven't put in our percentage of our output. Now that's going to be interesting because we've got here, goes to plus or minus, where that is always going to be a positive. So do we take the ABS value out from that on the graphic, or do we show a minus? And yeah, I think we will. We show a minus. So go back to that. Drag across wherever you are. Heat and cooling loop. I'm not bothered about that. Yeah, I'll do that. Not that it gets overridden, but I'll still do that as a matter of practice. And I'll still give it a border. Let's put a percentage on that. It's going to be 100%. So where would I put that? Because it's not the speed of the fan. It is... I think I'm going to have to put a PI loop. Will we know what a PI loop is? Probably not. Percentage heating stroke cooling plus minus fits nicely there. So edit, let's just make this page a bit smaller. Let's give it a go at 500. Control key Z. Edit. $400 for that. Take that, move it across. I think we can make that a bit smaller there. Make that a bit smaller there. We can then move that across a bit more there. Let's have one space in between it there, in case the tackle's really big, which it isn't, but let's just drag that across to there. And let's just take something off here. So let's just put that to 800, see what it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can take another 100 off there. $700. And we could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We couldn't do 10, but we certainly could take off 310. And I could take off another 2 more for that one. 680. Now finally, this relativize odds, press OK. That is done, I believe. So let's change the set point for that. Room set point, we change that to 21 degrees. With a 2-degree dead band. And we'll change that one to say 40. And we'll change that to 10. So it come on at 45, it go off at 35, and that is currently on digital. Let's put that one to voltage. And now we go and look at the other one, and it should be totally different, he says. Well, the set points are 21, 20. 25 and 2, 0 to 100. Let's put this one to digital. Yeah, that's your analog, that's your digital. So Fan Coil 2 has got digital valves, Fan Coil 1 have got analog valves, and you can adjust the set points. So what we can do now is go into the wire sheet. Let's just take all these overrides off now. And I think we are done. Can't see if we're looking. Yeah, I think we are done now. I don't think there's anything else. I don't think I forgot anything. I know we're not using the filter of the space temp, but we're displaying it. All this lot's being used. Yeah, I think that's good to go. If you like the video, can you subscribe please? More subscribers I get, the better. At least I know that you still want to see videos like this. So thank you for watching. Bye.